Hundreds of civilians from over a dozen nations are evacuated from war-torn Yemen in Russian planes and ships. A new Spanish law restricting public protests is met with a wave of anger, activists calling it a crackdown on freedom of speech. And everything you wanted to know about Edward Snowden. RT talks to the director of a new documentary about the notorious NSA whistleblower. Your Monday World Headlines, live from Moscow. Thanks for joining us on RT International. From me, Rory Souchet, and the entire news team, welcome to your headlines. Saudi Arabia continues to expand its deadly bombardment of Yemen, with dozens killed in the latest airstrikes, including children. And that brings the civilian death toll to well over 600 since the intervention began just last month, with entire neighborhoods now reduced to rubble. The bombing campaign against Shia Houthi rebels has forced hundreds of thousands of civilians to flee their homes. And many foreign nationals remain trapped in the war zone, including many Americans. And Washington says that due to security complications, it does not yet have a plan to rescue its citizens, though we had a chance to speak with some of them.
And there's no electricity, we have no gas. They're bombing by the seaport in Aden. And I also heard that it's a long travel and, it's difficult for children or elderly people.
We keep hearing the roaring sounds of the aircraft, especially at night, gunfire during the day. We are stuck here. We heard about the Russian rescue mission, but I'm trapped in the middle of the country. I can't go to Sana'a.
Now, several human rights organizations have sued the U.S. government for refusing to evacuate citizens from Yemen. The American embassy in Sana'a has closed its doors, leaving people with nowhere to seek help. And several other countries, meanwhile, have been conducting rescue missions. It was yesterday a Russian ship transported over 300 citizens of 19 countries from Yemen to neighboring Djibouti. And about the same number were flown to Moscow on 2 planes with a stopover in Cairo. RT's Paula Sleer was among the people on one of the flights from Yemen. She spoke to them about being pulled out of the conflict zone.
What do you think about the fact that the Americans are not sending their own planes to help evacuate American citizens like yourself?
We felt like we're left behind, no support. I called every embassy. I called the embassy in Riyadh, in Cairo, in Djibouti to help me and my family, but they always apologize and they said help is coming, but never came.
Why do you think the Americans made that decision?
People now in Yemen think that the Yemeni Americans are it's like second-class Americans.
This is Sana'a. Things are quiet on first impressions here at the airport, but on the other side of that wall, a humanitarian crisis is unfolding. Well, as you can see, this is the airport terminal. The bags are packed up behind me and everything is quite well organized here. People have already had their passports processed and everybody's already on the buses waiting to be taken to the planes.
It's so difficult. We can't understand what really happened.
What is the situation like in Yemen?
Too bad. Really too bad. Every day wire, boom, 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 boom in every place. You don't know you're gonna sleep, wake up, or you're gonna die.
There's just been an explosion that you can see behind me. It's coming from just behind the airport. It's now given a sense of urgency to people here. We are now on the return journey. 150 passengers on this plane, 150 on the other one. It's been a successful 10-hour operation so far. And while there's relief here, there's concern for friends and family left behind. Paula Sleer, RT, over Yemen.
The rescue effort has been complicated by broken transport links, which have caused critical shortages of both fuel and food. Journalist Mohammed Al-Attab talked to Yemeni civilians about the growing humanitarian crisis.
أنا أول واحد متضرر من الأزمة هذه تمام أولا قبل كل شيء متضرر على الأزمة هذه لأنه أنا بيت إيجار وسيارة معي إجرارها 3 أيام هنا واقفة تمام
يوم 4 أيام صرفنا الذي كان معنا دبة بترول ولم حصلنا حتى على نص دبة فالمنطقة هذه ما نستطيع نعيش ما بيش بترول يعني دبة ولا دبتين بترول يشتغل باليوم الأول اليوم الثاني بعدين يقطع عليك البترول.
السيارة لها واقفة أسبوع يعني وإحنا يعني شاقين على أسرة بالسيارة الجرة.
2 أخوة في مصر كمل العلاج من أول ما بدأ القصف لحد الآن ومحان بيه ما قدرش يجوا لها هنا وقد
بيخلوها زحمة هكذا ما بدوش المواطنين الصبح يقولوا لك لا جينا الصبح يقولوا تعالوا العصر نجي العصر يقولوا جو الصبح.
Saudi Arabia and its allies have vowed to continue the operation until the rebels are crushed and Yemen's exiled president back in power. But so far, of course, civilians are just bearing the brunt of the conflict, and we spoke with Tom Porteous from Human Rights Watch.
What is the obligation of those who are taking part in this conflict is that they should allow unimpeded access of humanitarian aid to those civilians who need it. Medical supplies, food, and so on. This is a conflict that has already created large numbers of displaced people and large numbers who are fleeing the country. The situation must be very bad in Yemen when people are fleeing from Yemen to Somalia, which is one of the, and has long been one of the most unstable countries in the world. For many years, Somalis fled for safety to Yemen. Now it's the other way around.
We are closely following the crisis in Yemen, both on air and online. RT.com. Get the very latest.